Good evening, everyone. This is Michael Reeves, and tonight we are going to bring an Autumn Wind Championship game to you. Actually, it's a conference championship game tonight. The combatants, the Houston Oilers, 12-3 with one tie, coached by Ken Briere, facing off against the Montreal Alouettes, who finished 12-4 this year. They're coached by Claude Turcotte. Turcotte is one of the longest tenured members of this league, and Ken Briere actually has only been in this league for 2 seasons. So impressive run for him and his Houston Oilers as he finds himself here in this championship game for Autumn Wind. Both of these clubs are in the, let me make sure I get this right, AFC. And we'll have the NFC championship. That's the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New Orleans Saints. That'll be Sunday. So that's the NFC championship. But tonight is the AFC championship, and the winner of this contest is going to play in Super Bowl 17. So we'll get back to it here. Go to set up the screen with the card information. Make my screen here a little bit brighter. And as we join this game, we're only a couple of minutes in, and Houston already has made their way to the Montreal 36-yard line. Off tackle run for Gordon. He's keyed on that play, and it's a loss of 1. So second down and 11, ball at the 37. So Houston received one of 2 byes in the AFC and the NFC. It's a 30-team league here in Autumn Wind. 12 teams make the playoffs, and Houston, I believe, was the number 2 seed. So they sat out the wild card round and defeated the Seattle Seahawks for the right to play in this AFC title game. Montreal has had a little bit of a tougher run. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. Here's a pitch to Gordon, and he's able to pick up a nice chunk on that play of 8 yards. It's now 3rd down and 3. That was an offensive guard 8 or 3 rating, and one of the hallmarks of this Houston Oiler team is a tremendous offensive line. You can see there on the screen, 6s across, only 1 5, and that's the right guard. So they get the benefit of the doubt on nearly every roll that hits the defensive card. It's now 3rd and 3 with 12:18 to go. And there's a pass to Elliott, and it is caught, and it's a first down. So pick up a 4 on the play, just enough for that first down. So that's Jared Goff under center, the all-world tight end Travis Kelce at tight end. Devontae Adams is one of the wideouts, and CeeDee Lamb. So really fine group of receivers there. And an interesting quirk in our league, if you have a running back with a run block rating of 4 or more, you can play them at fullback. And so that's why you see Ezekiel Elliott there at fullback and Melvin Gordon as the halfback. There's a pass intended for Devontae Adams, and that's going to be incomplete. White dice 6, and Jair Alexander needed all 6 of those, so he makes the play. 0 men in the zone there, so nice play by Alexander. So speaking of these Montreal Alouettes, they've had 2 wild card wins for the right to play in this contest. They defeated Dallas in their wild card round. And I'll have to catch up with their last game. Can't quite remember who exactly they played. I called it, but don't remember. There's a quick look for Kelce. Defense is double teaming Gordon. It's guessed right, and it's a blank on Kelce's card. So that's a nice break for Montreal. It's 3rd and 10. So I'll go back here and take a look at who did Montreal defeat in the divisional round. So 20-0, Dallas goes down to the Alouettes in the wild card round. And then There it is, Grand Rapids, 23-14. And that was the number 1 seed, Grand Rapids. And Houston defeated the Seattle Seahawks 30-13. So here it is, the AFC Championship. So on 3rd and 10, Elliott will stay in the game as the single setback, and that is Donovan Peoples-Jones, who is now the 3rd wide receiver. So there's your 4 main receivers there. You've got Devontae Adams, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Marvin Jones is checked into the game for CeeDee Lamb. Travis Kelce, Elliott, the lone setback. Goff is under center. This is the position that you want to get him in here. He's looking for Kelce. Great double team, and that pass is incomplete. Great double team, because had he not called that, that would have been a 10-yard pickup and a first down. So a nice call from Turcotte. Here's a 42-yard field goal. It's the first time either of these clubs are going to be looking for a score, as Houston received first possession, and now Montreal will get the ball back. So nice drive there for Houston. 4.5 minutes on that drive. And we'll see what Montreal can do with it. And they elect to return this kick. It's only a couple yards deep, but he's not able to make it out to the 25. Brandon Wilson takes it to the 19, and that is where Montreal will set up shop. So Montreal has had a very nice run on their way to the playoffs. In fact, of the 8 quarters they played in those 2 games, their first 6 quarters were all shutouts. So Houston's able to get on the board early. That bodes well for them. Montreal's got a terrific defense. Dallas has a very strong defense too, which I guess is to be expected by the time you get to this championship. There's a 3-yard run. Now it's 2nd down and 7. That was Edward Zeller. Unfortunately, we weren't able to broadcast the Seattle and the Seattle and Houston game, but I've been able to broadcast this Montreal club. I believe I have 2 games. No, I don't think I saw the Dallas game. No, I did. I called the Dallas game, and we're calling this one. And Scott and Zeller both had excellent games. They combined for about 170 yards, as I recall. There's a pass looking for Cooper. Defense is actually double teaming Scott. Pass sails incomplete. Defender X. Only needed to be a 4. So you've got Amari Cooper with Allen Robinson, and Preston Wilson now has checked into the game as Tannehill will go shotgun. That's Dan Arnold at tight end. And the Green Bay Packer / Detroit Lion. Jamal Williams checks into the contest. Looking for Williamson on this play, and he catches it. So Preston Wilson, that's on Ryan Tannehill's card. 12-yard gain, move the chains, first down. So Ryan Tannehill under center for these Montreal Alouettes, 12-4 during the regular season. And there's a bomb looking deep for Amari Cooper. He's going to haul this in. Defense guesses run. He's running away from the defense, and a touchdown. So a huge play for Montreal as Ryan Tannehill goes over the top. Defense calls run. That was 68 yards on Cooper's card, right or wrong. That would have been a 68-yard reception. So, but the defense called run there. But like I said, it wouldn't have mattered either way. Got a good roll. Snake eyes. And we have some offensive firepower here in just the first few minutes of this contest. It's now 7-3 Montreal. Now, in our Autumn Wind League, we do play with home field advantage all the way up until the Uber Bowl, which is the Autumn Wind Championship. And this league actually goes back all the way to the late 60s. It adopted the Strat-o-matic format in the early 70s, and it adopted the electronic version of this football game, I believe, 17 years ago. So there's a run up the middle that goes no place. Offensive onside in 0 or 5. And it's 2nd down and 10. That was Zeke's first carry. So Goff under center. There's a square out pass looking for Davante Adams. It's complete and it's good for 6. Now it's 3rd and 4. So let's see if they go back to that pro set, or maybe they're going to put, yep, instead of the 3 wide, they are going to go back to that pro set. So Turcotte has a 6 guarding Davante Adams. CeeDee Lamb is guarded by a 5. He does have some vulnerability there on Travis Kelce, guarded by a 4, and a 4 free safety. So he hasn't created one of these super teams. In fact, his offensive line 5-5-4 across the middle. Looking for Kelce. And Kelsey's able to haul it in. It's guessed right. But Jared Goff has a very nice flat pass card. He picks up 7 on that play. And move the chains. 1st down again for Houston. Back to the pro set. Montreal brings up 2 into the box here. Off tackle run. Defense guesses pass. And again, it's no gain. 2nd down and 10. Pitch out to Gordon. Defense guesses pass. It's on Gordon's card. He only picks up 4 on the play, and now it's 3rd down and 6. Ball resting at the 37. This is the AFC Championship, the 17th year, the electronic version, if you will, of Autumn Wind. Claude Turcotte and his Montreal Alouettes here on the road against Ken Briere and his Houston Oilers. Looking for Marvin Jones on this play. White dice 6, so that'll pick up 20. White dice 6 on a flat pass. That's one of the few rule variations that we have. This is pretty much the way, this is the standard Strat-o-matic league. The way your dad played, if you will. So there's not a lot of rule variation here, but one that we do have is the white dice 6. So if the white dice 6 rolls, unless you've got that 6 there in that zone, that means that 0 are going to be there. So you get a little bit of an advantage with the flat pass. Had he not rolled that white dice 6, instead it would have been a 5 or a 4, he'd be punting right now. Off tackle run to Elliott. Defense guesses run. Nice call by the Alouettes. And Elliott is taken down in the backfield. 2nd down and 11. Excuse me, stepped away for a moment. Now it's 3rd and 11. Let's see the result of that play. That was actually Goff looking for Lamb. And Denzel Ward, who was a 5, was able to make the play. Now it's 3rd down and 10. Excuse me, 3rd down and 11. Ball at the Montreal 44. This is Houston's 2nd possession. They got a field goal on their first drive. Looking for Davante Adams. Defense is double teaming Lamb. And that pass is going to be incomplete. So 4th and 11. Ball at the 44. They're going to go ahead and punt this one away. Let's see if they can pin him deep. And instead, that kick is going to sail to the 8. Let's see if they're going to try to return this. They do. And the returner brings it back for only a yard. So Montreal will set up shop here at their own 9-yard line. 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Montreal up 7-3. Off tackle run for Zellaire. Defense guesses pass. Pick up a 3. So on their opening drive, Houston took the lead with a field goal, and a couple of plays into the Montreal drive, explosive play, Tannehill to Cooper for a long bomb touchdown. Off tackle run. Defense guesses pass. It doesn't go anywhere. Linebacker brings a man up. It's your offensive onside and 4 or 1. So they'll get nothing on that, and it's now 3rd down and 8. Ball at the 11. 1:48 on a running clock. 7-3 in this AFC Championship game. Alouettes on top of the Oilers. We have a great website here for Autumn Wind. I'm a member of this league. I've been a member for 5 seasons. Coach of the Los Angeles Rams. Have a great website, but unfortunately we ran into some hiccups this year. One of the nice things, it actually lists the former champions, but unfortunately I don't have access to that. Great call by Houston. This pass is intended for Allen Robinson. Defense double teams him. There's no chance for a catch here. So they're going to turn this ball back over. Now that was actually a white dive 4. I believe on Tannehill's 1, 2, or 3, that would have been a catch, double teamed. But it's on the defensive card, so a nice call there from Houston. Nice pickup there on the punt, 11 yards. That was Donovan Peoples-Jones, the real-life Cleveland Browns. Brown, who we've actually seen on the field, he's the 3rd wide receiver for Houston. So this will be the 3rd possession out of 3 now that Houston will have the ball inside of Alouette territory. They'll take over here at the 49. Going to see this same consistent formation throughout. Here's a pass to Elliott. Again, Jared Goff, really nice flat pass card there. 7-yard pickup, 2nd down and 3. There's another run for Elliott. He picks up 5. Now the ball's at the 37 of the Alouettes. Off tackle run for Elliott. Again, defense guessing pass. Oh, excuse me, that was a pass. I'm sorry. 1 man in the zone. Linebacker in zone, not able to make the play. And that is a maxed out flat pass for 20 yards. Ball now at the Alouette 18. Again, Houston, excellent field possession when they started this drive, took over at the 49. They're now down to the Alouettes 18-yard line as we have made our way into the second quarter. Houston trailing 7-3, but they're on the doorstep. Again, Gordon and Elliott in the backfield. Elliott playing fullback. And there's another pass to Elliott. Defense was double teaming Lamb. That's 4 yards on the play. That was on Goff's card. 2nd down and 6. Pardon me. 2nd down and 6 on the 14. There's a quick pass over to Elliott. Defense double teaming Elliott. Great call for Montreal. And it's 3rd down and 6. So the head coach of the Houston Oilers is Ken Briere, who joined the league last year, but this has been no expansion team. During autumn wind in your first year in your inaugural season, you're really limited as to what you can do as far as trades are concerned. Mostly you just build through the initial draft, of which whatever franchises are um, if franchises are released or relinquished, basically they're put into a pool with the new owners. And I believe we had 3 new owners who joined last year. There's a field goal that will put this lead to 1 point now, 7-6. So of the new franchises, clearly Ken Briere took him only 2 seasons to make his way to an NFC title matchup, which is absolutely fantastic. Very nice person too. On top of that, and he's especially artistically talented. If you go to the Strat Fan Forum website, he's all the time posting um, posters for the road to the Super Bowl or the playoff tree, uh, banners for every team that winds up winning a division. In fact, I saw a Sports Illustrated cover highlighting this matchup. He's very, very impressive, very artistically talented, really nice person too. So it's great to have him in the league. So on the heels of that 9-yard reception, defense gets pass on that, excuse me, gets run on that play. That was to Edward Zellaire, who has a maxed out flat pass card, 9-yard pickup on the play. 2nd down and 1. Jamal Williams will just get this 1st down. That's actually on a pass reception, 7 yards, and move the chains. Tannehill so far is 4 of 6 for 94 yards. Most of it on that huge reception on their first touchdown. It was 68 on the card. I just don't quite know exactly how far they were away from pay dirt, but whatever it was more than enough to get there. So Tannehill on this play is sacked by Leonard Williams. He will lose 9 on the play. I didn't see a lot of sacks from Montreal in the 2 games that I've covered. I don't really know that much about Houston because, again, we didn't get a chance to cover the Jets game. All right, here's a quick pass looking for Kyle Rudolph. And that pass is incomplete. Third down and 19. Let's see how aggressive Claude's going to be on this drive. Clearly not the easiest conversion. Defense is countering with a 3-2-6. Here comes an inside run. Hand it off to Williams, see what he can pick up. White die 1. So the answer is nothing. He's not going to pick up anything there. So that was a quickie drive, and they will punt this ball back to Houston, who now is trailing 7-6. Donovan Peoples-Jones probably going to let this one roll through the end zone. Oh, wow. He caught it? Did he? Wait, that can't be right. No, he didn't. Okay. Sometimes his animation doesn't match. I thought he took it at the 1. So he lets the ball roll through, and they will take over at the 20. 9:36 to go here in the first half. Houston Oilers, Ken Briere trailing the Montreal Alouettes and Claude Turcotte 7-6. So here is a run for Devontae Adams on a reverse. And he has stopped 4 yards in the backfield. So that's probably the first reverse that I've seen in the playoffs. It's now 2nd down and 14. 3 wide, 1 fullback. So we got a couple fours here on Peoples-Jones and Travis Kelce. Double teaming let's see, Donovan Peoples-Jones. And that's a run for Ezekiel Elliott, and he picks up the first down. So a 16-yard gain on the play on that 3 wide set. White die 3. And move the chains. Ball at the 32-yard line. They took over at the 20. So no harm, no foul on that 4-yard run from Devontae Adams as Elliott is able to pick up the pieces and a first down. Here's a run for Gordon. Defense guesses pass. Nose tackle 4 or 9. Nose tackle is not able to make the play as that was a white die 6. He does have a 5 there in the middle. So obviously more often than not, he's going to make that play. But in this case here, he didn't morph into a 6. That's a 9-yard play. So that gives Houston a lot of flexibility here. Second down and 1, 7:48 on a moving clock. AFC Championship. Houston trailing 7-6. Screen pass, looking for Gordon. Defense guesses pass. Another white die 6. 0 men in the zone, 9-yard pickup. Another first down. So Houston has made their way to the 50. They've had 4 drives, and in each drive up to now, they have made their way into Montreal territory. And for the 4th time, they've made their way into Montreal territory. That was a 4-yard pickup for Melvin Gordon, 2nd and 6. While the Alouettes 46. So Jared Goff so far, just a steady diet of flat passes, 10 of 16, 91 yards. There's another carry for Elliott. Defense guesses pass, and that's a 14-yard gain for Elliott. And once again, Houston has made their way into scoring possession. The ball now rests at the 32-yard line. They're trailing 7-6. 6 carries for 34 yards for Elliott. It's just really difficult to stop that 1-2 punch when you can move a running back to fullback. There's an off tackle to Gordon. Defense guesses run. And yet Gordon is still able to pick up 14. So a short gain on 9. Guessed right. So that's living right. And Cambriere will take it. Ball now resting at the 18. So things are looking pretty good for them to take the lead here. They're clearly in field goal range. They're trailing 7-6. 2 men in the zone on that flat pass, incomplete. Second down and 10. Clock is stopped with 5:06. Here's a pitch to Gordon and another chunk play. So that's a gain of 13. And with 4:30 to go, Houston has marched all the way from their own 20 to the Alouettes' 5-yard line. Alouettes will get the ball after the half. Let's see how much time remaining they're going to have on this. Guessed right, it's a pickup of 4 for Elliott. Doesn't have a great guessed right card, but he just happened to run right into the right number. So difficult to stop this team now. I mean, they've got Gordon, Elliott, and Devonta Freeman. They've got sixes pretty much across the line. Just about anybody could fall over the middle. That's a run to Jared Goff. That should be a score, but it's not. Let's see. How about that? So guessed wrong. He had keyed another running back, and only 11 or 12 would turn away the Oilers, and he rolled 11 on that play, so that's an unfortunate break. So 3rd and 1, you have to think he's just going to keep plugging away if he gets in, until he gets in, excuse me. 3rd and goal at the 1, full house. Will Montreal try to key here? Off tackle run for Elliott. Defense guesses run. And Elliott makes his way into the end zone. He hits that same 4 he did just a moment ago. And Houston has taken the lead at 12-7 with 3 minutes to go. And they're debating whether or not to go for 2. And the debate is over. He decides, let's just kick this extra point. So for the second time in this contest, Houston has taken the lead, or you could say has retaken the lead. So I think we're going to have a freeze here. We'll have to jump out and jump back in. So we get these freezes. It's a bug in Strat-o-matic when kicks go into the end zone every once in a while. We get those freezes. But it's only for spectators. The game itself doesn't freeze. It's only for those of us who are broadcasting these games or spectators. So Montreal has taken over. We'll see exactly where they are. We're going to miss a little bit of animation here. There's an off tackle run. Defense guesses pass, and that was to Scott. And there's 2:06 to go here in the first half. Most everybody knows Clyde Edwards-Helaire, though he didn't see the field very much for Kansas City. He battled injuries. And Boston Scott, that's not exactly a household name, but he is a Strat darling. He is a limited carry, solid back. Inside run for Williams. Defense guesses pass, almost conceding that first down. They'll pick up 7, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Houston is now leading this game 13-7. The Alouettes have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, and they have the ball at the 41-yard line. Edwards-Helaire is back there with Kyle Rudolph, longtime tight end for the Minnesota Vikings. Amari Cooper, who had a bust-out touchdown for the Alouettes' only score, is flanked right. Allen Robinson there to the left. His 2 elite running backs. And he's looking for Kyle Rudolph on this play. Defender X, a short gain, 15-yard play. And he is stopped actually short of out of bounds. So will they burn a timeout? No, they'll stay full house. I believe, I should have looked at it one more time, but I believe the reason why he was open was because his coverage guy was maybe rushing, maybe he was blitzing. Although I believe he's guarded by 4. I didn't swing over to see exactly the formation, but regardless, Montreal has made their way into Houston territory. They've preserved all 3 of their timeouts. Here comes a screen pass. Looking for Helaire. It's good for 7. And this time Helaire is able to make his way out of bounds. So that'll stop the clock with 90 ticks Second down and 3, ball at the 37-yard line. Now Jamal Williams has checked into the game. Kyle Rudolph will still stay in there at fullback. Tannehill under center. Tannehill is 6 of 10 so far for 116 yards and a touchdown. No turnovers for either club. Pretty conservative runs and flat passes. Like I said, we did see some fireworks on a Tannehill to Cooper bomb that gave Montreal their first score and the lead, 7-3 in the first quarter. Off tackle run for Jamal Williams. Defense guesses pass. Linebacker in zone. But he's able to get enough for the first down. That was a 3-yard run. So the tackle was able to make the block. Now they have called timeout, so a minute 22 to go. They're pretty much on the cusp of field goal range here. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Edwards-Helaire is checked back in. Defense staying in their 3-4. Looking for Allen Robinson. Defense double teaming Allen Robinson. That pass is incomplete. Automatically incomplete on the defender X reading when you're double teamed. Minute 15 to go, first half. Alouettes trailing 13-7. There's a pitch to Scott. Defense guesses pass. And again, great pickup for Boston Scott. That'll be 16. And a first down. So they're able to preserve their 2 timeouts. That was Scott's only 3rd run, but that was a nice pickup there on the play. 16, he has 24 on the game. And that's what you're going to see. Edwards-Helaire, Boston Scott, and every once in a while, you'll see Williams. Defense was double teaming Edwards-Helaire on that play. That was a pickup to Allen Robinson. It was 12 yards on Ryan Tannehill's card. And Montreal is in business. A minute 7 to play. Here in the first half, they they took over this possession with 3 minutes to go. And they've made their way all the way downfield. Defense guessing pass. Here's a pass attempt to Allen Robinson. Oh, excuse me. You know what? He was deciding whether or not to call timeout. So he's decided to play hurry up. I'm sorry, play took a little long. I've read the card reading. Thought he was throwing another pass to Robinson. Anyway, first and goal to go. So they're playing hurry up, and now they'll preserve their 2 timeouts. So every option is on the table basically for each of these 3 plays. Off tackle run, defense is guessing pass, but it winds up on the defense's card, and that play's not going anywhere. Well, he is able to fall forward and get 3. So linebacker in zone was unable to make the play. That was Neville Hewitt that was in there. I believe he's a 4-4, and it was a white die 6. So 37 seconds to go, and Montreal elected to use one of their timeouts. So for the first time in this game, we now see Ken Blasingame Edwards-Helaire is in there with Williams. 6 is pretty much across the board, and that's before they run before they had before they decided to go with the full house backfield. Defense guesses run, and that is a catch for Allen Robinson, a touchdown, his second catch on this drive. And a great answer back from Claude Turcotte as they had the extra point, and now they have regained the lead 14-13 with 22 seconds to go here in the first half. So we're not going to have a game freeze. Instead, we're going to have a return. So that's a nice break. And Houston will have possession at their own 21-yard line with 15 seconds left to go. So let's see how aggressive they're going to be from their 21. Maybe they just take a knee and go in for the half. 4 wide set. That's Elliott in there. Elliott's going to haul in that flat pass, but it's only going to be a pickup of 3. Houston elects to use a timeout. They have 1 more remaining. They've got a max of 2 plays. Gordon checks into the game. Now he has a long gain and run and a long gain off tackle and a 65 and a 43. So there's some good stuff there. Let's see if he just decides to throw maybe he just tries an end run with Gordon here. It just goes for one of those chunk rolls. There it is, off tackle run for Melvin Gordon. However, it's on the defensive card. He picks up 4, and that's a first down, and that's going to leave 1 second on the clock. So what does Houston have that could lead to a 67-yard touchdown? Well, they've got some monster wideouts. Don't even sleep on Peoples-Jones either. That's a good defensive back. Plus, Montreal has a 4 back there in the secondary. Maybe they'll move one of those guys off of and move a guy back. I guess not. So they're looking for Donovan Peoples-Jones. There's nobody in the zone, and that pass is going to be incomplete. Yep, that was a great half. So the 2 coaches are talking. They're going to take a 2-minute break here. I want to take a look at something to see if Montreal really caught a break there. I tend to think they did. Maybe I'm wrong. 0 men in the zone, and that was on the quarterback's card. Yep. Wow. Had that been a 4 or 5 or 6, I believe that would have been a long gain. I don't believe there was a man in the zone. And in fact, even if there was somebody in the zone, that would have been a long gain. Wait, let's see, 1 man in zone. I believe he used that free safety to go double team Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yeah, but if I missed it, I swear I thought it was empty. That would have been a long gain. Had there been one person there, it would have depended on the white die roll. So we're not going to speculate on what could have happened. We're just going to say that was a great half, and it most certainly was. So the Alouettes are up 14-13, 12-4 during the regular season. They had a couple of playoff wins against Dallas, and they knocked off the number 1 seed Grand Rapids. So Dallas was the wild card win, and then Grand Rapids in the divisional playoff. And Houston knocked off the Jets in the divisional round to make their way here. So looks like we have no, guess not. I thought we had a freeze. So Montreal, who had the lead for much of the first half and retook it with just under a minute to go in the first half, up 14-13. The winner of this AFC title tilt will take on the winner of the NFC game, which will be Sunday, I believe, and that is Gene LaFleur and his New Orleans Saints against Dave Szymanski and the Philadelphia Eagles. Both of those two are long-term members. So 3 of the 4, I believe, are in the 16-year club, which would be max for the Autumn Wind format, which is the computerized version of this game. Crashing the party this year, Ken Briere for the Houston Oilers. 2 seasons under his belt. An amazing run for this Houston team. There's Tannehill across the middle, and that's incomplete. Pass was intended for Amari Cooper. Play was guessed wrong. He just found a blank right there in the middle. So Houston says, I will take that break and any more that you can give to me during this game. Thank you very much. 3rd and 7, 3 wide set. Preston Williams checks into the game. Rudolph takes a seat. Williams comes in. He's a better receiver than Edwards-Helaire. Here's a screen pass to Williams. Defense was double teaming Cooper. And a 12-yard reception on the play. So that was a white dice 6 reading. Strat has changed it this year that you can actually see the results of fumbles, but the problem is the timing is such that you can't really take a look at the results on the card. It's hard to see. You got to be like real fast. So, and I am not. Just a couple plays here into the second half in this AFC Championship. Montreal up 14-13 over Houston. Alouettes have the ball in their own 40. That's Edwards-Helaire back in there. Looking for Amari Cooper, and the defense guesses pass. That's a pickup of 11. Guessed wrong on Tannehill's card. Montreal caught Houston napping in the first quarter and went over the top on a run call from Tannehill to Amari Cooper for the game's first touchdown. It was 68 on his card. He only needed, well, he needed every one of them, actually. I wondered how far away he was. It was a 68-yard reception on the card, and it was credited as a 66-yard touchdown reception. So Montreal again in business here. They have the ball at the Oilers' 38, but they're only up by a single point, 14-13 in this very well played game. No turnovers for either club so far. Edwards-Helaire is going to take this one up the middle. It was guessed wrong. That's 7 yards, 2nd down and 3. Alouettes now in field goal range at the 31. It'd be a 48-yarder from here. 2nd down and 3. And Williams will check back into the game. Maybe good to preserve some carries for Boston Scott. There is a run for Williams. It's guessed wrong. And that's a pickup of 12 as the nose tackle is not able to make the play. Alouettes is a nose tackle 5. And it was a white dice 6, so a 12-yard pickup for Williams. Another first down. Ball at the 19. Nice drive here for Montreal, who scored just before the half to take the lead 14-13. Barring calamity, it looks like they have a great chance to extend this league. Defense guesses pass, but the dreaded 5. First time we've called that today. No gain there for Edwards-Helaire. 5 carries, 16 yards. Now Boston Scott will check into the game. Again, a limited carry back But you don't have to have superstar backs. It's all about the cards, and he's got a good limited usage card here. He can get about 10 carries, 12 a game. There's a pass that's corralled by Kyle Rudolph. Defense guessed run, 10-yard pickup. And Tannehill continues his hot day, 13 of 19 for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Montreal looking to close out this very, very solid drive as the ball is now at the Houston Oilers 9-yard line. Scott is in there. Defense is double teaming Scott. They're looking for Amari Cooper, and he hauls it in for his second touchdown of the game. So that's 3 touchdown passes now for Ryan Tannehill. And with this extra point from Nick Prater, which is good, they now have extended their lead 21-13. Boy, Prater in his last game against Grand Rapids hit 2 field goals outside of 50, including a 59-yard field goal against Grand Rapids. So it's great to have a kicker you can rely on from deep. So Houston only is down 1 score, but it's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And this is their first possession of the second half. That drive took nearly 7 minutes. So Montreal drove the length of the field, and on the heels of Ryan Tannehill's 3rd touchdown, on a pass to Amari Cooper, that was his 2nd touchdown reception, they've taken the lead 21-13. Flat pass guessed right. No big deal. Goff's going to complete that. Really nice looking flat pass card there. And Ken Briere is taking advantage of it. Off tackle run. Nice call by the defense. They guessed run, but they're still able to pick up 9 yards on the play. Defensive end 2 or 9. And on that run to the right, BJ Hill is only a 4. So he can't make the play. He'll have a better card next year. BJ had a strong season for the AFC real life Cincinnati Bengals. There's another pass completed. Pickup of 7. He's been hitting those 7s a lot, especially that 5 roll, picking up 7, 2nd down and 3. So Houston is motoring down the field. They've made their way to the 44 as we're halfway through the 3rd quarter. They're trailing by 8. Off tackle run to Gordon. Defense guesses pass this time, but the dreaded 5 comes up. And Gordon is stopped right at the line of scrimmage, so it's 3rd and 3 from the 44. On that flat pass attempt, 2 men were in the zone. It's only a pickup of 1, and so Houston is going to be forced to kick this ball back to Montreal. And that ball's going to sail into the end zone as he hit a boomer there, 67 on his card. So well out of reach for the return man, and Montreal will take over at their own 20. They're up 21-13 in this AFC title game. I see Dennis Crowley in the background. Dennis, if you want to join for the broadcast, feel free. 21-13, Montreal set up shop at their own 20. 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter of this AFC title game. There's a run for Zeller, but it's only a pickup of 3. Pretty mediocre card. Guessed wrong off tackle run there for Zeller. He does have a short gain on 6. Short gain on 12, 31 on a 2, guessed wrong. Maybe hoping for a little bit more on a 7. Maybe he's got better cards ahead. Boston Scott checks into the game. He runs it up the middle and he picks up 5. Nice block there by the center. Only needed a 4. And he has a 6. Look at that line. A 4 right tackle and everybody else is a 6. You can get away with mediocre running backs with such a good line. So Williams checks in. So will we see a third carry in a row from a third different running back? Nope. We're looking for a pass, and Houston snuffed it out too. But it's still complete on Tannehill's card, who has been scorching this game. That's another first down. Tannehill, 15 of 21, and he's made it over 200 yards. Yards are not easy to come by with the rule set that we have here in Autumn Wind. We don't have the dump off pass. So, games in which your quarterback throws for over 200, that's saying something, especially without turnovers. And he's been throwing downfield too. He's had his fair share of flat passes, but he's not been afraid to throw short. There's a pass for Allen Robinson, again completed. This one is guessed right, but it's on Robinson's card. It's a 15-yard gain. And Montreal now is in Houston territory for the second time in this half. On their first drive, they scored on Tannehill's third touchdown pass, his second touchdown pass for Amari Cooper, giving them a 21-13 lead. So Montreal is really getting it in gear offensively. They've scored touchdowns on their last 2 possessions. The last possession of the first half and the first possession of the second half. Off tackle run for Zellaire. It's a 5-yard gain. And so with such dynamic wideouts there in Robinson and Cooper, it's kind of hard to guess run. Even though Zellaire doesn't have a great card, I mean, it's a coin flip. If it winds up getting the defensive card with all of those 6s, you're going to get the max gain off tackle. Off tackle run for Scott. Not afraid to run this ball at all. Nose tackle 4 or 9. And Alou is able to make the play and stop Boston Scott 1 yard short. So a nice play there by Alou, actually. And again, third running back checks into the game. That's Jamal Williams, longtime Packer who completed 1 season with Detroit this year. Defense guesses run, button hook pass. There's a 5 in the zone. And Williams is able to haul it in and pick up big yards. Guessed wrong, short gain, 15. And the Alouettes have made their way all the way to the Houston 19-yard line. So here's Zellaire back in there. So Alouettes have an excellent chance here of extending this lead. Nose tackle 0 or 3. Alou is not able to make the play, but little damage, 3 yards. Second down and 7 from the 16. Blocking back 0 or 2 on that play. So that's no gain. Scott 6 carries for 33 yards. So it's now third down and 7 with 36 seconds to go here in the third. Montreal up 21-13, barring calamity. They're going to extend this lead to 2 scores. The question is it going to be a field goal or is it going to be a touchdown? Houston hoping for a turnover. And there is another completed pass for Tannehill, who is roasting now. That was a 12-yard gain on the play, and that was to his running back, Jamal Williams. That's his second 12-yard reception. So now the ball rests at the 4, so Houston really has to tighten up here. as we've made our way into the fourth quarter. This will be the first play of the fourth quarter. Montreal up 21-13. 2-yard pickup on the play. 2 linebackers in the zone. Edwards, that's his 9th carry. Just a pedestrian day, 29 yards. But they've been able to control the tempo, as this is another lengthy drive for the Alouettes. This drive started at the 20. Edwards-Helaire is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. It was guessed right. Good call from Houston. And so now it's 3rd and 2. So Moreau is in there at tight end. All those 6s up the middle, and has nothing to do with full house. They were already good to begin with. So this is a big call for Houston. Inside run for Helaire. Defense calls run, but he's able to find 4 yards on his own card. Wow, not a lot of gains would have gotten it in. A 9, a 10, 11, well, a 12. So Helaire scores a touchdown for Montreal. They have 4 touchdowns now. 3 of them have been via the pass. So that's the first rushing touchdown that they have. And they're now up 2 scores, 28-13. Lots of time, 13:15 to go. But things can get a little bit dicey back there with Jared Goff. This is a team that likes to run and it likes to flat pass. And so going down 2 scores is going to make this a little difficult, a little challenging for Houston. But there's plenty of time, so they probably won't divert from what we've seen. And there you go, an off-tackle run. Pickup of 4. Tough roll there. White die 6. So it's only a gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Elliott and Gordon back there. 11 carries now for Gordon. He has 81 yards. Wow, 80. There's another carry for Gordon. And that's now 3rd and 2. That's the quietest 85 yards. I swear, that's the quietest 85 yards on 12 carries. On 3rd down and 2, the defense guessed run, and Goff was able to find CeeDee Lamb for a 10-yard pickup and a 1st down. That's a run off tackle to Gordon. Guessed wrong, pickup of 6. Actually, that was an end run. It's now 2nd down and 4. Goff under center, looking over the defense. There's a run up the middle for Elliott. No, excuse me. He faked me out. So that was a 0 man in the zone flat pass and a pickup of 20. Over to Devontae Adams, who's had a very quiet game. 3 catches for 33 yards. Didn't take very long for Houston to make their way into Alouette territory. There's the first deep shot that we've seen the entire game. Goff looking deep. It was guessed right. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10. About the Alouette 34. And there's a pickup of 8 for Gordon. That was on the defensive card. It's now 3rd down and 2. Off tackle run, defense guesses pass. And they're able to get the 1st down. That was a run for Zeke. 10 carries for 53 yards. So they've been able to run the ball effectively today. They just don't have the points to show for it. Really, the story has been about Montreal's offense. Very strong today, and Ryan Tannehill has had a very, very strong game. Off tackle run for Elliott. He loses a yard on the play, nose tackle. Able to make the play. -1 or 3. So Montreal Alouettes pulled one of their linebackers up to support. Good call. Pitch to Gordon. Defense guesses pass. And that's on the defensive card. Picks up 8. If that's on Gordon's card, that's a 0. That's a stinker. So 3rd and 3. We are halfway through the 4th quarter of this AFC Championship. 28-13. Goff is looking, and caught. Nice play. Jared Goff completes that pass 7. He's hit that 5 on his card a bunch of times today, so that's another 7-yard pickup. 17 of 26 for 146 yards. That was Devontae Adams' 4th reception, and now the ball is 1st and 10 at the Alouettes 7. Incomplete pass that was intended for CeeDee Lamb. Lamb has only 1 catch today. Travis Kelce's been pretty quiet in this game too, come to think of it. And there's a pass again intended for Lamb. That one's incomplete. 3rd and 10. So this drive, which has been very strong, is kind of in neutral here, and this likely is 4-down territory with 6:18 to go. Field goal is not going to do you any good here, so got to figure out a way to get this in these next 2 plays. Going to be counting on Jared Goff. Does not have a very strong short pass card. So hoping for a little bit of help from these receivers, and they're good ones. Marvin Jones has checked into the game for CeeDee Lamb. So a big call here for the Oilers. They can cut this down to a touchdown, but they're going to need a big throw from Goff in these next 2 plays. Looking for Peoples-Jones, and that pass is incomplete on Goff's card. Defense was double teaming Kelce there, so they were looking for. So Ken Briere was looking for one of those 2 receivers guarded by a 4. The Alouettes chose to double team Kelce. So let's see what we've got here. Maybe we see some double action. At this point, the play of the game here for Houston. Can they dial up some magic to cut this lead to a touchdown? Looking for Travis Kelce, and the defense is double teaming Kelce, and it's incomplete. And Houston is going to turn the ball over at the Montreal 7 with 5:42 to play. So a nice red zone stand there for Montreal, but Goff, unfortunately, had trouble finding receivers on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, and then a nice double team there on 4th. And they're going to turn this ball back over. Defense guesses run on this play. And again, great blocking. A 0 or a 5, but when you got that white die 6, pick up 5. So 5 minutes to go on a running clock. Montreal looking very good here, up 28-13. Just 5 minutes away from punching their ticket to the Autumn Win Finals. And they'll square off against New Orleans or Philadelphia, but there's still 5 minutes to go. Inside run for Jamal Williams. But he stopped. He only picks up a yard. Linebacker in the zone able to make the play. Didn't take much. It was a white die 4. Defense had called pass on that play. So now it's 3rd and 4. Maybe we see another run up the middle. Free safety blitz called. Jamal Williams in there with Kyle Rudolph. It is going to be a run to Jamal Williams, and he's able to pick it up. And then some. So 13-yard gain on the play. Double box was in play. It was 3rd and 4. That double box made all the difference there. That would have been a turnover, or it would have been a punt. Would have been a 4th and 1 and then a punt if we want to be more specific. So 3:54 to go. So I'm wondering if maybe there's been a game freeze. It's possible. Yeah, nothing's happened here for a minute. So we will clear out of here and jump back in. Of course, if it was a game freeze, they'll have to throw out another number. Let's just see if it was my computer that was hiccuping. I think we may have had a game freeze. Well, we've got to pause in the action because I think we've had a game freeze. Hmm. Oh, where did our combatants go? Not quite sure. Nobody has sent a message saying that the game is frozen, and yet I can't seem to get in. It's possible the game froze. There we go. And they didn't throw a number out there. All right, 29808. Okay, one of the computers must have frozen between these two coaches, and so now we're going to. Cambriere is such a nice person. He's really, really a good guy. He's such an asset to this league. And he just said maybe we can start this whole game over at 0-0. Yeah, Claude Turcotte's a great guy too. So I believe we've got a great website, but unfortunately, we don't have access to a lot of the cool things that are part of the site, including the list of winners over the years. I'm almost positive that Turcotte has one autumn win title to his belt, or under his belt, excuse me. But I should have taken, if I'd have known the website was going to have problems, I would have done a screen grab last year. But unfortunately, that section of the website is not available. So maybe after the game, if somebody joins, they might give me a little bit of history here as far as whether or not this is Claude's first go around in the autumn win Super Bowl. I don't believe that's the case. I do think he has a title under his belt. So we'll just set this back up after that 2-yard loss by Edward Zellaire. It's now second down and 12. So Scott is checked into the game. There's 3:18 to go. Houston has all three of their timeouts. That's Tannehill, who completes the pass to Rudolph. White dice 6 there. Pickup of 11 on the play. It's now 3rd and 1. And there's 2:42 to go. Houston will sit on their timeout. Houston's got to do everything they can to get this ball back. Hopefully on this play. Tough one though. Williams in there, 3rd and 1. You got that great line. Maybe you key on Williams. Maybe Tannehill just takes this one over the top. I think we'll see a quarterback sneak. There it is. Defense calls run. It's Tannehill, calls his own number, and he loses a yard. So Houston probably will call timeout here, I think. Yes, they do. 2:24 to go. And they're going to send everybody after this punter. Going to bring the house. He's able to get it away. Peoples-Jones calls fair catch. There's a long gain on a 12. Hoping for boxcars, didn't get it. 2:06 to go. Houston has the ball at the 17. They're trailing by 2 touchdowns. So I knew somebody would come to my rescue. Dennis Crowley lets me know that he's actually won 2 of these autumn win titles. 2012 and 2015. There's a long pass that's incomplete. Defender X or 27, and the white dice 6 is able to make the play. That's Zaire Alexander, who had a big interception in the divisional playoff game in which Montreal beat Grand Rapids. So they've done it the hard way, gone on the road, defeated Grand Rapids, the number 1 seed, defeated Dallas at home, 20-0. And today they're less than 2 minutes away, and that's going to pretty much do it. That's an interception by, there's that man, Mackenzie Alexander. I believe he's the real life Cincinnati Bengal. Played for the Vikings for a while. That's pretty much going to wrap it up. So, with 1:52 to go and 2 timeouts remaining, trailing by 2 scores, Goff had no choice but to throw it deep. Try to cut into this league with a little bit of time. 2 timeouts remaining, 1:07. It doesn't look like Houston's going to call timeout. I think they pretty much put up the white flag. Boston Scott is checked into the game. Ryan Tannehill's going to take a knee. And Houston's going to let this clock roll. So Montreal has punched their ticket to the Autumn Win Championship. Congratulations to Claude Turcotte, a wild card team that is going to make their way to the Autumn Wind Finals. So we have now crowned our AFC champions, the Montreal Alouettes, 12-4 during the regular season. 3 wins in a row here in the Autumn Wind playoffs, and they will await the winner of the NFC title game this Sunday between Philadelphia and New Orleans. That's Dave Szymanski, the Eagles coach, up against the New Orleans Saints, coached by Gene LaFleur. That should be a great game of 2 veteran coaches. So, an excellent run. Congratulations to you, Ken Briere. Again, not a historian of this league by any stretch, but you probably couldn't count on one hand how many teams were expansion and came in to play into the conference final game in only their second season. That's very, very impressive. He's put together a really solid club that's going to be a handful moving forward. He's a great coach, super guy, terrific graphic artist. He's made so many really nice things for all of us here with championship banners, posters, magazine covers. He's a really nice person too. On top of that, good things are definitely ahead for the Houston Oilers. But today belongs to the Montreal Alouettes. Viva Canada. Viva Montreal. Viva Quebec. Alouette, Joto Alouette. That was for Tom Cook. 28-13. That's your final score. We'll run through the box score here quickly. Fine contest from both of these clubs. Only 2 turnovers. Both of them from Houston. One a turnover on downs late in the game, and a interception by Mackenzie Alexander for Montreal. So Houston, on their first possession, took the lead on a Robbie Gould 42-yard field goal. Didn't take long. Only a couple minutes later, Montreal strikes back. 66-yard touchdown reception from from Ryan Tannehill to Amari Cooper. And after Prater's extra point, Montreal was up 7-3. Houston cut into that lead to 7-6, scoring with hit a field goal, 28 yards, Robbie Gould, when the drive stalled at the 11-yard line. So that cut the lead to 7-6. And late in the second quarter, Ezekiel Elliott on a 1-yard run allowed Houston to retake the lead 13-7. The big moment, in my opinion, came with 3 minutes to go. Montreal drove the length of the field, didn't settle for a field goal. Instead, Ryan Tannehill threw his second touchdown, this one to Allen Robinson. And so with 22 seconds before the half, Montreal retook the lead 14-13. Then, continuing on that momentum, they scored a touchdown on their first drive of the second half. Ryan Tannehill's third touchdown pass, this time to Amari Cooper from 9 yards out, allowing Montreal to extend their lead to 21-13. They added 7 more points on their next drive as they scored just a couple of minutes into the fourth quarter. This time, Clyde Edwards-Helaire on a 2-yard run. And that made the score 28-13, and that's where we ended up. So we'll take a look at a few of these stats here. Efficient offenses on both sides. Montreal, 8 of 12 on third down conversions, 67%. Houston, not too shabby there. 7 for 12 for 58 yards. Clean sheet for Montreal, no turnovers. Montreal, 2 turnovers. Again, one on a late interception and the other on downs. Sizzling day for Ryan Tannehill, 19 for 25 for 254. That's a very difficult game to put together in Autumn Wind, the way we have our rules without the dump-off pass. And a lot of those passes were downfield. Those weren't just dinks and dunks. And again, included in that is a 66-yard touchdown pass. 3 touchdowns. Look at that, 10 yards per attempt. You really don't see that in this league. Sacked only one time. Great quarterback rating of 147. Jared Goff, 17 of 32. Very efficient during the first 3 quarters, but down the stretch, when he has to go short and long, that's where he struggles, and he really has to rely on his wide receivers, and unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The backs, Edwards-Helaire, Williams, Boston Scott, Nothing really outstanding there. They all three combined for over 100 yards, but averaged about 5 yards a carry, and so that's what you want. The no-name backfield. Melvin Gordon, 15 carries for 107 yards, maybe the quietest 107 yards I think I've ever seen. 11 carries for 52 yards for Ezekiel Elliott. He scored the lone touchdown for Houston. Amari Cooper, big day, 5 catches, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, of course, 66 on 1 reception. The other touchdown goes to Allen Robinson, who had 3 catches for 30 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, workhorse back, 6 catches for 48 yards. A lot of these, again, flat passes, as you can see by the yards per catch, although he did catch some breaks on some white die 6s. So not a lot of other stats to look up here. There was 1 sack in the game, and that was Leonard Williams for the Houston Oilers. So there is your final score. So congratulations once again to both of these clubs. First of all, Ken Briere, an outstanding season, 12-3-1 in the regular season. Put together a nice win against the Seattle Seahawks to have the right to play in this AFC title game. That is no easy task. Dennis Crowley always has a very strong team. But he ran into a buzzsaw today in Claude Turcotte, who is a 2-time Autumn Win champion. He'll be looking for his 3rd title, and he'll have to wait till Sunday to figure out who he's going to play, to either be the New Orleans Saints or the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll go to the lobby to see if anybody's there, and if not, we're going to shut down this broadcast. Well, it looks like we do have somebody. Who we got? That's the guy I know, but I've never met. That's Ken Pierre.
Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. And you?
Oh, just crying a river.
I imagine. I'm
Yeah.
really sorry. I think you ran into, this is a league that without the dump off pass, and I know there's a lot of debate about that. There's not really much motivation to throw short and deep. But Tannehill was kind of hot today, and
he
made
was
a
on
lot
fire.
of short and deep passes as well.
Yeah, and in hindsight, obviously the game just ended. Whatever. Looking back, I'm kind of good with the way I played it. I'm not really kicking myself too much. I tried to mix in a little bit of pressure. I tried to mix in some double teams, and man, when he needed to connect, he just connected every time. Got to give him credit.
Absolutely. Yeah. He was 8 of 12 on 3rd downs in this game. And you and I, now Ken is the coach here of Houston. I'm the coach of the Los Angeles Rams, and he and I played in a division that was fairly competitive. And we had a couple of, our first game was competitive. I think the second one went off the rails. But I've had a chance to see you play for a couple of games, and I think you stayed in your lane and did what you basically needed to do, and that is run, flat pass. Goff is not the kind of quarterback who can throw, downfield consistently. He does have a lot of turnovers on his card, but you were able to hit that flat pass, especially that 7. You just kept chunking down the field. I agree with you. I think this was just one of those games that Tannehill just was quite strong, and more often than not was able to complete those passes, especially downfield. Plus that Amari Cooper pass, I'm sure that you recognize this. Even if you guessed it right or wrong, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been a 60-yard right or wrong on his card. There's not much you can do about that.
Right. The thing that really hurt me is later on in the game when it was still competitive, I threw 2 red zone short passes, guessed wrong, and didn't connect on either one of them.
Yeah.
And that was kind of heartbreaking. And
that
then
was
on 4th down, I had it randomized to who to go to.
Yep.
Kelsey's name came up, and I thought, oh boy, I know he's going to double team Kelsey, but I like double reverse psychology myself. And I thought, that's the name that came up. That's the name I'm going to go with. And sure enough, he double teamed him on a great call. So
I understand. Yeah, but it's so disheartening to have those first couple of calls not go your way, and then when the chips are down, now it's just, well, he's looking at Kelsey, who obviously is an all-pro tight end, and you've got another 4 over there in Donovan Peoples-Jones, which I think is that who he doubled on the third down play? I want to say that's what he did. Or maybe I've got it reversed. Did you throw Kelsey 2 times in a row?
No,
No, he doubled Kelsey 2 times in a row, and you threw to Peoples-Jones on third down.
Yes, I threw on third, and then no, I threw to Marvin Jones on third down.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, actually, no, he was first. Whatever, but the big one was that he double teamed Kelsey when he really needed to, and
yes,
you got to score touchdowns to win. As much trouble as I had stopping him in the second half, got to score touchdowns. In those field
100%.
goals I kicked in the first half, those will come back to bite you. So
yeah, there was a drive. I think he had a 28-yard field goal, stalled at the 11. So,
but I've done that all year. I've taken my points at every opportunity, and I just thought put points on the board and keep them coming. And but Claude is a great coach.
Team strength. I mean, this is what you wrote out for the entire year. You've got a monster offensive line and a very, very good flat pass card in Goff, but. I would think that, again, I didn't follow you all 16 games, but you also have very solid outside wide receivers. So probably every once in a while when you just got to hold your breath and roll a short pass and hope that it's on the defensive card and maybe Adams or Kelsey or Lamb or Jones can come through. And I'm sure they did for you. But, even on that last drive, you were down by 2 scores. Plenty of time left in the third quarter, but you didn't panic. You didn't throw downfield thinking, oh my gosh, I got to score a whole bunch of points here real fast. Just stayed in your lane and got to where you needed to be at the 7 and put yourself in a position to cut this to 1, but just a couple of cruddy rolls there down the stretch.
That's the thing. That's how I felt about it. Just run the ball, throw flat, stay calm.
Oh yeah.
I played the Chargers this year and I was up 10 points with a minute and a half to go and ended up tying the game.
Oh, really?
Well, he rolled snake eyes on a must run for a touchdown, got the onside kick, kicked a field goal. We went to overtime. And so I tried to keep that in the back of my mind. Just you have to be within 1 strike. And for my team, 1 strike isn't necessarily a long pass. 1 strike might be a sack fumble or a pick 6 or some kind of strange roll. So if woulda, shoulda, coulda. If I could have connected there in the third quarter to keep it a 1-score game, you never know what could have happened. But
no small feat in the divisional round to beat Seattle. I think everybody pretty much knows about Dennis Crowley's prowess. That guy is an amazing coach. If we had a Mount Rushmore, he'd be right there on it.
Right.
Not one of his stronger teams. But only 2 years into the league, not intimidated at all, and said, let's go for it. I think that's clearly something. First of all, 12-3, fantastic season. Second, a great playoff win against a super great coach. Clearly nothing to hang your head on. To hang your head over on any of this. I think it's a fabulous second season. And I'm sure that you can build on this. And again, you picked a team that was strong. You played to the strengths. You've got a really solid offensive line. You've got good corners too. On top of that, I think you can continue to build on this momentum.
That is the plan. The most important thing, and I know it probably sounds cliche, but we have just had so much fun playing in this league. It's just been a riot. And I'm heartbroken because I lost, but I'm also heartbroken that the season for me is over because this has just been a riot. So
it's a gut wrencher. Last year, I think it was my 4th season, and I finally got into the playoffs and had a nice year. I think it was 13-3.
Yeah.
And then when you get punched in the gut by Dallas in the first round and it's over, it's like, oh, what was this for?
It hurts. It hurts.
It hurts. Sure. I'm not kidding you. It really does. It really does.
I'd like a loser's bracket in the playoffs. I'd like another chance.
Well, I like I said, you played to this team's strengths. You played like a coach who's been in, and believe me, we got some guys in this league. If you've listened to any of these broadcasts, Dave Szymanski, who's just a fantastic guy and was actually a broadcaster growing up. I've gotten a chance to see a lot of videos that he did. He lives out in California. A lot of this is a California-based league.
Sure.
We got guys that have been playing this game since the 70s for crying out loud. And we were actually talking about you in the last broadcast a little bit because you're kind of like the unknown quantity, but it's not like you just fell off the turnip truck. You've been playing this game. You've just been playing in different leagues. But it's really unique for some.
No, not true.
Is that
No,
not true?
no.
Oh,
I
please,
played.
please tell me, how much
I
experience do you have in this
I
game?
will tell you. I was always a solitaire player for years.
Okay.
But I was obsessive over it, and I would play literal full NFL seasons by myself.
Oh my gosh.
And
Wow.
it would take a calendar year to play a season.
That's
So
fantastic.
I wasn't doing any schoolwork or anything like that. I was just, wearing, grooves in the table with the, cards and dice. And I had stacks of loose leaf paper up to the ceiling of stats. Never added it all up. It was just too much.
Wow. Yeah.
But so I played a ton of solitaire. And then, my goodness, 30 years ago, God, I'm getting old, man. 30 years ago, I played in a play-by-mail league called NAFA, the North American Football Association. Jeff Smith was in that league.
Okay.
And so I played 2 years in that league, and then I didn't play any Strat-o-matic football for 20 some years.
Oh my gosh.
But
Wow.
I've coached. I'm a high school football coach for all
Okay.
those years.
All
So
right.
then when my oldest boy got to an age where we started to tinker around with it, it just kind of, lit a fire in me, and I really wanted to play in a league. And I waited years. I waited I scouted around online. I wanted to be in a really particular kind of league.
Sure.
And I waited for years for there to be an opening. And I sent Larry can tell you, I sent Larry notes and letters on a regular basis. And I always tell my boy, Will, if you're going to nerd out, do it right, man, and have fun with it. So when I would send Larry correspondence, it was always on Houston Oiler letterhead. and trying to bring back the blue and bring back this team. So I have not played much league competitive Strat-o-matic football at all. But I've learned, like, guys in this league have been so good to me. Even the first year I got the floor mopped with me in the first several games. And every one of those guys, as badly as they outcoached me and as badly as they pulled the wool over my eyes on third and short, throwing long passes, whatever, every single one of those guys in the end sent me an email or talked to me or whatever and told me how I could have gotten better, what I could have done differently. So those conversations with people in the off season and, particularly after games, it's been like a master class. And I'm still learning. Against Seahawks, at the end of the first half, I ran the clock out because I'm still trying to get a grip on the 2-minute clock and how to use timeouts and when to spike. So there's been a big learning curve, but it's been a fun learning curve. And this league is just full of such good sportsmen.
Very much so.
Everybody's been really, really cool, and they've really taught me a lot.
That's been my experience too. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Dennis, of course, he plays in like a gazillion leagues, and he's won a lot of league championships. He had a game, I believe it was in a league called Strat-28 about a month ago, where he was trailing by 27 points entering the fourth quarter, ties it up with a couple of seconds left to go, and winds up winning the game in overtime.
Oh my goodness.
I've never seen anything like it. I've never, ever seen anything like it. So for you to maintain, again, we're playing a kid's game. Let's be honest here. It's not like we're digging ditches or going into coal mines, but still,
but Matt Stafford's playing a kid's game too.
Yeah, well, that's right. But look, Dennis Crowley's reputation precedes him. And when you talk about how good these people are in this league and the feedback that you can get from people, Crowley's taught me how to play this game. And talk about a master class. Just get on Tom Cook's broadcast, get on his website, his YouTube channel, basically, because he's 10 times better than any of us broadcasting games, and 20 times better than me. But that's how I learned how to play this game.
Yeah.
Was basically watching his broadcasts. Dennis Crowley, when I was first in SSFA, I'm playing in a spring Strat-o-matic football league, SSFA. That's Ed Barrow's league. And the first game that I played, Dennis said, all right, I'm going to stream this on YouTube, and we'll just play this in real time. And I'll teach you about here's what you're doing right, and here's what you're doing wrong, and here's some tips. Tom Cook has broadcast my games and called me at like midnight and talked to me for like an hour on
Yeah.
this, basically giving me all these tips. To this day, I wouldn't have Patrick Mahomes if it wasn't for Tom Cook.
I
Let me
remember
have
you
it. Like,
saying that. Yeah. Yeah.
what do you think about Mitch Trubisky, man? You big moron, man. You got to take this guy. This has a generational talent. Let me have it. Just the support that I've gotten from these two, and then these broadcasts afterward. Saminsky's such a good guy. Jeff Smith after his game, that was a heartbreaker.
Oh, I
15-1,
know.
wanting
That
to
was
get
a
back to the
heartbreaker for
playoffs.
sure.
But they're all good guys. I mean, they're all really, really good guys. They're all smart. They know what they're doing. A lot of people like the rules that are different in the in your SSFA and your Samifa league, especially with the dump off pass and all this. But this league has a charm to it that I think is so different than any other league. And then, unfortunately, the website has had a little bit of problems, but I think it's like the premier website that you're going to find anywhere. There's stats like galore all over this. It's so fun to look at. But I've always loved this league. This league has been my love. It really has. Really has.
Yeah. Yeah, Pete, what makes a league? I mean, you can gather up 20 people, 30 people, whatever in a game and have a league, but it's the people that make the league, and it's the personalities that come together. To me, everybody's team, we're all playing the same game. We get the same play calls, so to speak, but everybody's got their own little personality.
Yeah.
And I think that comes through during the game too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no geeks in this league. I'm being honest. They're all nice. Get good conversations afterward. Got a good forum too. The drafts are really nice. One of the reasons why I really like this is because it's very difficult to build a super team in a 30-team league. Sometimes in the 24-team leagues, you look at it, it's like, oh geez, where aren't there sixes on this club? It's like, how in the world do you even win against a club like this? Right. But in this, it's very, very difficult, very hard. You got to draft well.
Yeah.
You have to draft well, and you have to make good trades and hope that you make trades that you're going to acquire some players that aren't just like 1-year rentals. And you got to know when to go for it, when to hold them and when to fold them, I guess.
And you have to draft well late, which is key. Because also, with that many teams, you better be able to get some guys in the later rounds that can help you.
Yeah.
And it increases the number of teams in the league. For me is a really big deal, because all of a sudden, that 4 guard, that guy means something.
He does. I agree. Yeah. Left corners and corner fours, boundary corner fours mean something here in a 24-team league. You probably could get away with it. Not here, especially in like a double counting lead. That 4 does make a difference. It's not easy to win with zeros on the field. So and that and what I like about that too is for teams. Okay, so you got a roster that probably isn't going to wind up making the playoffs. You can rebuild, but that 4 that might not be worth a lot is maybe worth a 4th-round draft pick, and maybe you can find somebody that's going to help you in a few years. So there's value for 4s where in the other leagues you don't really see it. And those like the backs that you were facing today. Zillaire doesn't have a great card. Boston Scott is a Strat darling. He's not a household name in the NFL, but he is here. But backs like that have good cards and, you know what, I'm not going to make it this year, but I'll trade like a Damon Williams for a 4 or a 5. At least you could get something in return for that. There's value in those players, and the teams that have them that know they're not going to contend can at least get value in return.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. Yep. The number of teams is a really, really big deal to me.
It is.
And
it's tough.
It gives you
something
to
build, and it's really tough to stay there. It just is. It's very hard to get teams back to back that play well.
But in any game, no matter how good your opponent is, there's a place to attack. There's some kind of movement that he needs to make up for whatever deficiency he has on his roster. And in smaller leagues, sometimes when the super teams are out there, you might as well flip a coin who's going to win the game, because everybody's got the same cards in front of them.
That's right. And, like I said, I've been in this league for 5 years, and I've been very blessed to have Mahomes quarterback in here the last few. But I started out with Matt Castle for 1 year, and I had to play with Bryce Petty for 2 of them. But that year that I had Petty, that we won 5 games and lost 11, I had a blast that year.
Yeah.
Because to me, even with a very cruddy team and like no defense at all, if you can just snap up and bite somebody for an upset, man, that's fun. That's like your own little Super Bowl. You may not make the playoffs, but I'm playing hard for 16 games because you're learning. I never felt like, because in some of the other leagues, and again, I'm not throwing games by any stretch, but man, if you got a bad team and you're up against, crazy lineup here in only a 24-team league, you probably don't have much of a chance. You'll play till the whistle blows. But here, for whatever reason, I just get like ultra motivated because I think that just about any team can win at any time. There's no sure things here at all. It's just there's more competitive balance in a 30-team league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, this is certainly a competitive league. Who do you like? Who do you like that's left? Who do you like against Claude in the Upper Bowl?
Okay, so the bias in me is saying Dave Szymanski,
Mm-hmm.
but the only reason why I say that is because at the beginning of the year when I was doing all those crazy predictions, please
Mm-hmm.
plug your ears when I say this, but I had Montreal playing Philadelphia for the title.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm halfway
In
there.
my mind, when I did my own little prediction at the end of the year, the two teams that I had picked out were the Alouettes and the Patriots. But I didn't see anybody touching Jeff. I didn't see anybody beating the Patriots. I
was
thought
stunned. I was stunned. Yeah, I was stunned.
And he's I mean, a great team on paper, and he's a great coach.
Oh yeah,
it's still a dice game, right?
It is, and and that's just it. I mean, it was this close last year until he finally met his Waterloo last year in Dallas. Then you come up with a 15-1 season. It seems like destiny that you're going to be there. But no, he came on for that after show for like an hour. So I tell you what, I'm not sure I could do that. I tell you, I take this kind of seriously, and I'll talk for a couple minutes and pretend like, oh, everything's okay. Hey, way to go, Dave. You're a great coach and all this, and he is. But oh man, that'd be a sleepless night for a dice and card game, for crying out loud. Maybe I need to get my priorities straight. But
no, I don't think so. I'll tell you what, I knew it was looking grim for me, early in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go cry myself to sleep. I can't imagine. I just can't. And looking back on that drive, first of all, what an incredible drive by Dave. I don't know a lot of other than double team Fuller on the last play of the game. I don't know a whole lot more that Jeff could have done on that drive.
There isn't. There really, really isn't. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts, basically. It's hard.
And credit to Dave too for putting himself in that position.
Right. God, it was a great game though. I mean, again, you hate to see a team lose like that, and 15-1 to think about. I mean, godly, you got to wait all these months for the draft all over again. No way I'm watching that game. Forget it. I may just vacation from Strat for a couple of months.
Yeah, well, that's what Will and I do. We're only in one league, and it gives us a chance to just obsess over this league 365 days a year. So our draft discussion will begin, I'm sure, tonight, and we'll start mentally putting some pieces together for net. We're not afraid to make moves, not afraid to trade. At all.
You know what? You have to sit there and just wait a year and take your lumps. That's just what it's an initiation, basically. Who do you like in the Eagles-Saint game?
I knew you were going to say that, and I'll let you in on a little secret. I've got 2 Sports Illustrated covers made, one with each of them winning, because I don't have the first clue I've played them both. Dave, he just outcoached me horribly. Like, he beat the brakes off of me last year. Mm-hmm. And yes, he had the better team. He had the better cards, whatever. But still, schematically, he just tore me apart. John, we played twice, and I beat him in overtime one time. But I think he outcoached me worse than Dave did, even though I won. I hit Devontae Adams on a lucky pull it out of the sky, long gain, long pass touchdown in overtime on the third play of overtime to beat them.
Yeah.
Both great coaches, both great teams.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to get, they played each other right in the Saints won the first time.
Okay.
Generally speaking, when team A beats team B, it's for a reason. So I'm gonna think that the Saints won for a reason, and I suppose I'll go with the Saints Alouettes Upper Bowl.
Well, if it means anything, the Saints are home, so they will get that little piece of home field advantage.
Yep.
So but you know what? Philadelphia just took care of New England on the road, so who knows? Here's the thing: I'm gonna say Philadelphia because I don't think that Gene LaFleur has met Walter Payton. And Dave Szymanski has. So I'm going to
Okay.
go with that.
All right. Little mojo there.
Well, Dave was telling me that, oh yeah, I've got interviews online. I'll take a look. I'll be daggone. He was right. I saw an interview there with him with Walter Payton. It's like, you got to be kidding
No
me.
kidding. Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool because he was talking about, oh yeah, I met Bo Jackson, and you can't believe this dude is as big as he is. I interviewed Jim Brown. I didn't see
Let,
those, but I saw Walter Payton. It's like, dude, you like buried the lead.
let me tell you my Bo Jackson story, if I may.
Okay.
I
All
met
right.
Bo Jackson, but I didn't meet him. Here's what happened. I was in the 10th grade. I was at Fairlane Mall, right down the road from here in Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay.
Walking through the mall, and I saw this guy who looked just like Bo Jackson. Now, this is 1990. This was the height of Bo Knows. This was the height of Bo's popularity. So I'm walking through the mall. I see Bo Jackson. A guy looks exactly like Bo Jackson. And he's kind of walking with an entourage, whatever. I just cruise on by. I went home and I told my dad, I said, Dad, I was at the mall today, saw this guy look just like Bo Jackson, but it wasn't him. And I know it wasn't him because there's no way Bo Jackson's that big. And my dad's like, you idiot. Can you know how big these guys are?
Yeah, yeah.
And he walks over, he grabs the newspaper, and Bo was it, and he shows me, look, the Tigers are home against Kansas City for 4 straight games.
Oh,
what do you think these guys do all day?
Wow.
So yeah, it was Bo.
Oh, that was your brush with greatness, kind of.
What a giant man. Like you
Yeah.
you can't imagine trying to tackle somebody like that running with a football.
Well, I think I could, because I met a guy who was giant who could have tackled him. My family was very close to Corey Bacon,
okay.
the longtime NFL player. Before they were keeping track of sacks for the Bengals, I think he had like 26 sacks in a year. Like, I've seen stories of Andre the Giant basically holding a beer can, and you
Sure.
couldn't see the can. I never saw a beer in Corey Bacon's hand, but I'm almost convinced that you wouldn't see the can either. You've never seen hands like this in your life. One of the sweetest people you'd ever want to meet. I live in Southern Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
and after his playing days, he came back, and he was a pastor. But we would play pickup basketball, and I was like 16, 17 at our church, and I was playing with guys that were like 20s and 30s and 40s, and they'd let me play with them. And Corey was like a family friend. And I got past my guy and went to the lane, and he basically put me on the ground. I thought this guy was a family friend, and he wasn't even trying basically to do this, and just knocked the snot out of me. And I thought, could you imagine seeing this guy? I've seen video of him. These people who, I don't know why they've done it, but it's very generous that they do it. They've got VHS tapes that they've had at home, and they'll put entire football games on YouTube now, 60s games and 70s games and 80s games. So now I'm getting a chance to catch up with who this guy really was. Oh my gosh, he was an animal. He was an animal, fast, strong, killing people.
Those guys could play.
Yeah, that's my NFL story basically. He was a very good family friend of ours, and we're hoping, like anything, that the NFL maybe we'll consider a veterans committee, maybe some Hall of Fame look. He just got into the College Football Hall of Fame, so maybe they'll give him a look again. But he was a great guy. Great guy.
Well, thank you for broadcasting the game, and thanks for all that you've done. You've made it so much more exciting with the broadcasts and the preseason stuff and all that. And I'm looking forward to working with you on a project coming up. We're going to have some fun.
I think we will too. Because I'll tell you what, think about this next year. Okay. Your draft preparation is starting up.
Right.
I think next year when we do our little season preview and it's just me mumbling into a microphone next year, I think we need to have a few people on. So let's start thinking about that next year when time comes and we're going to start doing some broadcasts here. I'd like you to be a part of it.
I'm going to give you something to think about too. And I'm going to throw it out there on the board here pretty soon. I've got a couple projects in mind that I think would be really fun. I know that you do the video broadcast, but I would like to do some kind of, I don't want to say written prediction, but almost like, how we all do our own preseason thing. I'll go on there with a page and I'll break myself down by position. What if we were to come up with a team of guys where we break down each team in the league? You could do your own. We could have one guy per division, maybe.
Yep.
So everybody's only got like 5 teams. And then put that together in a book, like a PDF or whatever that everybody has. And I certainly would volunteer to do the graphics for that and do the layout.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a lot of fun. And
I think it would too.
the other thing that I want to get going on, which I think would be a ton of fun, I've kind of been waiting to talk to Larry about it, but with the 20th anniversary of the league coming up the following year, I would love to make like an Uber Bowl history book, like a digital book.
Yeah, that would be fun.
One page, one like double page with graphics, with all that stuff per Uber Bowl. And somebody could write the story of the game. We could put the box score in there. But here's where I'm going to nerd out on you. I would like to put a committee together. Just tell me what you think of this idea.
Sure.
Put a committee together only of Uber Bowl winners. And I don't know how many guys in the league, maybe it's 6 guys, maybe it's 10 guys, whatever. And have those guys go back and pick the MVP for each one of those games.
Yeah.
And in like a 20-year all Uber Bowl team or a 20-year all-time team. Drew Brees, I think would certainly be the quarterback.
Right.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
I think it would too. I think you could, because these guys are basically historians. I mean, Dave Malt was on here. I'd never met that guy, and he was on our broadcast, and that guy's knowledge of this league was encyclopedic. I barely even knew who this guy was. Because you got lifers who've been in this league for 30, 40 years, way back when they were doing the card and dice thing.
Right.
And they're very, very committed to this league, and they love new blood. So, when I joined 5 years ago and was kind of pitching in and helping out, it's nothing compared to what you've done for this league. I mean, graphically,
oh, that's not true. That's not true.
Well, you know what? If you're committed to a league and you really like it, you're going to put in the extra time to do that. And I feel that way about this league.
Yeah.
For sure.
Dennis Crowley and I were texting some months ago, and he mentioned something about his Uber Bowl and whatever, and I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to have a like the program cover for each Uber Bowl?
Yeah.
And I was homesick for a week. I already made them. I've got 18 of them on my hard drive. I made an Uber Bowl cover for every game. So that's the type of thing that would go into the book. All the Uber Bowl covers and whatever. I just think it would be a lot of fun for that 20th year. Make it special.
This league has a lot of great stuff going on as far as its website. It's the most in-depth that you're going to find anywhere. There's a rich history that's associated with this. Mm-hmm. I think it's just needed some new blood with some new energy for people to do some things that are just unseen that you're going to see in leagues. Now, maybe there's some crazy baseball people that put together some good leagues like this. I'm sure there are. Mm-hmm. Football is a little bit more niche, but the people in this league are very much committed to this. And I'm on board. I would love to have a chance to do that. Anything we could do to enhance this league and get, good people coming up and getting people on deck so that when the people finally do retire and move on, that we can get some more good people in this. And some young blood's not going to hurt, and young energy is never going to hurt. So.
Hopefully they don't go anywhere or retire for a really long time, though.
No, I'm not chasing
guys. No, I know that. All right. Well, I'm gonna sign off. Thanks, Michael. It's been a pleasure, and I'll look forward to watching the broadcast for the Uber Bowl.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad I had a chance to meet you, Ken.
Thank
you so much.
Talk to you soon,
care.
Mike. See ya.
Take care. All right. Well, that's going to wrap everything up. So your final score, Montreal 28 and 17, I believe, right? What was your final? That's right. It's 13. That's right. Montreal 28 and the Houston Oilers 13. So congratulations to Claude Turcotte, who is going to look for his 3rd autumn win title. Congratulations to Ken Briere. Great season. 12-3-1, a divisional playoff win. But he met his Waterloo here in the AFC Championship. Now, again, that NFC Championship is going to take place this Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern, and it will include Gene LaFleur and his New Orleans Saints, and he will be hosting the Philadelphia Eagles, coached by Dave Szymanski, 2 long-termers, lifers, if you will, for this league. So it should be a great matchup. Hope you enjoyed this broadcast, everybody. We thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations both to Ken and Claude. And we look forward to this game Sunday. So everybody out there, stay safe. God bless. Have a great evening. Take care.